All right, I'm going to call the executive committee to order. First, would the clerk call the roll?
Supervisor Kirpellion is excused and all of the rest of the committee members are here in the chambers.
Thank you. Item number 1, approve of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
Any corrections or anything? Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Items referred to the county board. Report number 2025-4 by the county executive making an appointment to the Burlington Public Library System.
Confirm. Second.
Any discussions? Person on is Megan New from Burlington. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Report number 2025-5 by the county executive making an appointment to the Racine County Ethics Board.
Confirm. Second.
So we're confirming Dan Kelly and Elaine Sutton-Nikas. Any comments, questions? Seeing none. Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number C, report number 2025-15 by county executive making an appointment to the Waterford Public Library Board of Trustees.
To approve.
Motion's been made and second to appoint Janice Lobel to the Waterford Public Library. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number D, resolution number 2025-15 by individual supervisors regarding an event at the Waterford Union High School track meet on May 7th, 2025. Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments? Questions? Supervisor Pritzker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm new to the county board, so I'm not sure what the precedent or protocol is for resolutions like this, but other supervisors have told me that it's generally not good form for the county board to be, I guess, picking on or calling out issues with other municipalities or governmental bodies or elected officials within the county, whether it's school districts or municipalities. So I don't have a problem with this. And before today, I had a bigger problem because we hadn't received any information about it. It was just for lack of a better way to put it, it was just a prejudice resolution that wasn't based on any information that I had received, at least, about the incident, other than, gossip and rumors. So I guess I appreciate that Supervisor Cald asked to have the investigation report sent to the full board so that we have that information to make the decision. But I do have concerns about the precedent for the resolution, and that, should we in the future have similar resolutions like this calling out the shortcomings of, the Racine Unified School District proficiency scores or the city of Racine's policy issues.
Thank
The
you.
other supervisors have.
Yeah. The other thing that I received today was a letter from Luke over at the high school, and it's all been distributed, correct? So that's on your tables right now. Supervisor Porth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And by the way, we are permitted to speak at this point. I know it's the executive meeting. Correct.
Yeah, you can speak. It's just that you won't be able to vote in the.
Understand. Obviously, this is close to home. And I was the one who actually brought it to the board's attention at our meeting, I believe, 3 weeks ago. Or 2 weeks, whatever it was. And obviously very disappointed, but was very clear that what I heard were all accusations and were beliefs of what might have been done, might have been said, might have been acted on, but that it was necessary that we allow the administration at the school to do a review and to make sure that they were properly communicating what the results of that review was or investigation. I think the reason I voted no last board meeting was because the vote was specifically on the suspension of the rules of order, as opposed to an actual vote on this topic. But I voted no because there was still information that we needed to have to be able to make an informed decision. And as I understand it now, yes, I had a conversation with the Superintendent Francois this morning. And I had heard that the results of the investigation had been published on Friday, and then distributed yesterday. So it was something that I, once again, saying that we just now have received the information to be able to review it and ask any appropriate questions. So the ability to make a decision right now on this would still be something I'd be concerned about. But equally important, I applaud the level of detail that the administration reviewed on this situation, which ultimately resulted in, from, again, my interpretation at this moment, one individual from the high school student, out of roughly 850, made some inappropriate comments, and that the discipline is being addressed accordingly at that level. And that then I learned today that Waukesha West was brought into this as having been a part of the problem. And of course, we knew about the possible official issues with regards to Wisconsin Athletic Association. And so I started realizing it's very difficult for me to try to hold an entire school accountable for the actions of one student, when in fact the school has certainly handled this in a manner that we would have hoped it would have been handled in, by properly following up, getting the detail, immediately addressing it, bringing all parties together. So my concern is now, and I think Supervisor Pritzker just talked about singling out. And I happen to feel the same way right at the moment, that to single out one school because of the actions of an individual is probably something we should seriously think through before we do that. But more importantly, I still absolutely believe that as a county, that we need to have a very strong position on this topic, as opposed to singling out an individual school that's going to be called out in a specific resolution. So with that having been said, I yield back, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to share my thoughts.
Thank you. Supervisor Hopkins.
It is my position that, as stated and as intended, I don't particularly identify any wording that looks to quote unquote target any particular school. As far as Waterford or otherwise, I think what the resolution basically does is it acknowledges the findings that, in fact, what happened did happen with the racialized taunting. And that as a county, it upholds our commitment to justice, to the dignity. So it just reaffirms our commitment to justice, human dignity. It does not, in my vantage point, single out Waterford Union High School. It just states we're taking a stance on the findings, and we find that they were substantiated by the reports. So this is just as us as a county making a public stance that says we acknowledge what the findings were by the school themselves, and just having a stance for justice, for human decency. So it's not my impression that in any way it's singling out the school. It's saying that these things did happen. The superintendent did acknowledge it. And that we as a county want to address, again, those virtues, those important things. You know, racial justice, um, human decency. And I think that's the kind of leadership we need to demonstrate as a body. So, you know, that's how I'm looking at this, is us taking a stance. I don't necessarily see as worded that we're singling out. This is just us acknowledging what's already happened, what's already been reported and substantiated, and taking a stance for those virtues I just mentioned.
Supervisor Trotter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well spoken, fellow supervisors. You know, in reading the final report of the investigative findings and district response of the plan of the track meet event allegations of May 17th, 2025, to me, the incident was totally bad, totally unacceptable. Personally, I am opposed to racism, bias, and inequality. I will try and continue to double my efforts to condemn this type of behavior. But acknowledging the presence of multiple school communities and jurisdictions, per this final report, I am going to suggest that Resolution 2025-25 be tabled. It was not merely Waterford High School, but many. So I'm requesting that this be tabled, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yes.
My thought is a number of supervisors still want to speak, and if we have a motion to table, that would end debate. So I had a similar thought as Supervisor Trotter, but I would like to wait until all who wish to speak have an opportunity to do so.
Gonna,
Point of order.
Acknowledge.
so it dies lack of a second.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Was
ahead.
the resolution as stated? Was it motioned and seconded?
No, it was just Supervisor Trotter just made a motion to table it. There was no second.
Well,
There was.
And if it,
did I in fact make a motion to adopt the resolution? And was it in fact seconded?
yes,
It
but
was.
that's on. Go ahead.
My point is, should we consider a motion to table, which would be in order at any point, but that would end all discussion. My preference is to hear those who wish to speak, and I would like to speak as well, so.
Yeah, so there's a few more. So
Mhm.
the table motion at this time dies at lack of a second. Supervisor Rossi.
Thank you, Chairman. I sympathize and understand a lot of the aspects of Supervisor Hopkins' statements, and I stand with him, and I think I can speak for everyone here when I say that every one of us is against any and all acts of racism. I did call, I attempted to reach out to the Union Grove, or I keep saying Union, terribly sorry to throw that in there, Waterford Union. The word union is inflating for me. But the concern I have is that when I reached out to them, I got a call back from this Mr. Lucas Francois, and I became aware that I was the second supervisor to contact him. And the first supervisor he informed me was Gary Coleman. That was yesterday. And then I learned that there was no coordination with Waterford Union High School on any of these issues. And it's concerning to me that we would take this action against another governmental body, making a statement on what their actions are, or perceived inactions potentially, without coordinating with them. I think that this needs at least more investigation and coordination with Waterford Union High School. And that's my stance. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Rutkowski.
So I just read the investigative findings today, and this Waukesha is that's the first time I've heard that mentioned. And it does seem that people are against singling out one high school when in fact there were more high schools involved. So why wouldn't we include, are there other high schools besides Waukesha and Waterford involved?
There at the meet, as I understand, because I talked to the superintendent also. Waukesha West, which are also Waukesha West Wolverines, just like the Waterford Wolverines, Union Grove High School, and Milwaukee, Washington was there. Rufus King. I'm not sure if there was any more. He believed there was only 4. One of the things about school districts and Supervisor Rossi, when you talk about Waterford, it's a Union High School. Union high schools are only from 9th to 12th. Racine Unified is a unified high school, which goes from 4K to 12. So in the Waterford area, we also have 5 feeder schools with school districts. And they take the 4K to 8th grade. And one of the offenders, we'll call them, that were doing some of this was not even a high school student yet. I find that troubling. But I also, am against racism, stereotypes, and taunting. The Waterford athletes, nowhere in the report do they say anything about Waterford athletes. It's other school districts, athletes that were interacting with Rufus King. And again, that was one of the reasons why I sent it here tonight, because when start to investigate and it gets flushed out, then you have a clear picture. So that's my comments. Supervisor McReynolds.
Thank you. As Supervisor Horth commented earlier, this hits very close to home for me also. I will say that I was a bit surprised that this resolution came to light when it did, without any investigation by Waterford Union High School being done. I thought that maybe some dialogue could have been had with the school, either face to face or via telephone or email back and forth before a resolution like this was put together. And I think the spirit of this resolution is very, very good and well intended. However, it could set really troubling precedent going down the road with something happening within any of our communities within Racine County that we don't agree with. Are we going to write a resolution each time something like that happens? And I don't think that would be this board's place. And I will leave my comments at that.
Supervisor Wishaw, the school board member on the county board.
Yeah, thank
Can you impart some wisdom?
Yeah, I wear a lot of hats. I'm just gonna be pretty short and brief with this. I'm really sad that this entire incident took place. This is obviously not the lane that the county board should be in. Singling out other communities. I'm not gonna really go too much into it because obviously a lot of supervisors have already echoed my comments that I would like to say, but this is something that I think after speaking to the superintendent today, he would feel very disrespected if the county moved forward with this. I think if there's a conversation, he's open to it, to where everybody can work together. I think he says that even in his letter. But I'm also just disappointed that the folks that drafted this resolution didn't make any attempt to reach out to the folks at Waterford. This is all played out in the media. There was a whole slew of racially insensitive comments made on the Waterford High School thread, which were equally as disappointing as what was said, allegedly said at the track meet. So I'm thankful to Waterford for willing to step up and wanting to work together on this. I hope we can still move forward with something. But I think this is just a pretty clear evidence that we need to let things work themselves out before we jump the gun here. So that's all I have to say.
Supervisor Horth. Well, Supervisor Spencer hasn't spoke yet, have you? Would you like to speak? Go ahead, Supervisor Spencer.
A while back, Supervisor Bukowski and I did a resolution of a similar style against anti-Semitism acts of violence and vandalism that were happening. And that passed with no problem. This is not that different. It's not about specifically Waterford. I mean, as a county, Waterford is in the county. And as a county, I think we need to acknowledge this. It's important to address these issues that have happened. And this is a timely issue due to the date being over a month ago that the incident happened. And in regard to 2 weeks ago being not, I mean, the administrator had come out with a statement. We knew what the statement was. There was admitted incidents that happened and an apology was made. And I feel very, very, very strongly that we need to bring this tonight in front of the full board for first and second reason and let the full board discuss it and talk about it and make the decision. As a county, I think we need to stand together against these acts of injustice.
One,
Point of order.
yes, go ahead.
Could the chair and the clerk explain to us, my understanding is because of the way the agenda is out, whatever this committee does, the full county board could not consider it tonight because of how it was posted. Is that correct?
That would be correct. Our normal protocol when an item, whether it's a resolution or an ordinance, has been referred to a committee for further review, it goes on our county board agenda as an item that is laid over, and it is not until after action by the committee that it would potentially come back to the county board for action at a subsequent meeting. Because we can't know in advance of the committee meeting what the committee is going to decide. And it just so happens that the executive committee is meeting the same night of the county board. If we had met, as an example, last week and the board had made a determination, or excuse me, if the committee had made a decision regarding this item, that may have altered where it appeared on the agenda.
Supervisor Spencer.
It happens frequently where the corner over there is prepared with updated resolutions to be voted on first and second reading. They're written out, they're brought around, and we vote on.
It's not the document, Supervisor Spencer. Sorry, I'm going to stand up because
Yeah.
I'm kind of, you can't see.
No, I can't see.
It's not the document itself. It's not the document itself that couldn't be prepared. It's the fact that the committee had not addressed the item for the county board to yet take it up. So for example, if this were to be approved in some fashion tonight, whether it's the original resolution or some type of a substitute resolution, the committee would take action. And then at the next county board agenda, it would be on for action by the full county board. But we can't do, we don't notice it for action by the county board because we're not sure what the executive committee is going to do with this item.
But that's what I'm saying. That's happened. That happens frequently, does it not?
Not when an item is referred to a committee. This item was specifically referred to a committee, which is why it's on our county board agenda under that items referred at the very end of the agenda. As you know, it's a placeholder because it's not lost. It hasn't been acted on. It hasn't been,
The way I read that was that 2025-15 was not going to be voted on, but 2025-15 could be voted on, and -S could be
at
voted
the
on.
committee level, not at the county board. It depends on what the committee decides this evening, what the county board may take up at a subsequent meeting.
So that takes away any reason to table it.
Are you satisfied with,
For now.
okay, because we do have Supervisor Horth.
I'll make this brief, and at the risk of being redundant, there isn't a dispute in anybody's mind how serious we all take this issue, I'm sure. And I would like to just encourage that we utilize this as an opportunity to work with potentially the Waterford Union High School representative. I mean, Luc Francois has offered himself up to be a part of helping support and craft things items going forward that would definitely recognize our concern with this topic. And so I would just be encouraging that we look at a proactive way to try to utilize what has been an unfortunate experience and try to make something positive out of it as a group. Thank you.
Chair.
Supervisor Meyer, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I would agree with everything we pretty much heard here tonight in regards to being supportive and moving forward with this. I think Supervisor McReynolds and Supervisor Wishall's comments were parallel to mine in regards to what kind of a slippery slope this could become. And when we start weighing in on everything that becomes offensive to somebody at some degree at some point, I think we all can do more individually in our communities and spread the right message and do the right things. I don't always know that if we put something on a piece of paper just to tell someone to do the right thing, that it's going to have as much impact as we as individuals in our community.
Supervisor Hopkins.
So I just want to reiterate again that nothing as far as I'm interpreting from the language of the resolution is singling out Waterford High School. It speaks to what happened for the most part. And the findings was out 2 weeks ago. The finding was out. Okay. There was a release. There was a statement was released. The investigation was done. Those findings did come out. And again, it affirmed that the allegations were accurate. So this is just an affirming what was already reported by the superintendent, that these allegations were substantiated. They did happen. Again, the report, the information released, the 40 people that were interviewed, however the case is, that report was out 2 weeks ago. Matter of fact, it was a founding document in terms of what was drafted. So again, this resolution just reaffirmed what was already, the findings already came out. We're not contradicting the superintendent in terms of what the findings were. And just like my colleague stated, this board does have a precedence of addressing instances of intolerance, of racial injustice, of prejudice, et cetera. So this is not apart from any precedence. There's a precedence for that. And again, I think as a county, it's very important that we be in a position to affirm the findings that was released by the superintendent. This is just affirming those findings. And again, reaffirming our position for justice and for respect of human dignity and so forth. So again, this is not something this is not in contradiction. The report came out. This is just a reflection of the report. Doesn't contradict what the superintendent already laid out occurred. This is us affirming what I think is very important, a stance. There is precedence for this. And in no way in shape and form do I think this is a a means to the floodgates being opened. I believe this is a very singular situation. Unfortunately, it happened. There's precedent for us addressing it. And I'm not of the opinion that it opens in any shape or form other kinds of issues. This is very singular in nature and we have presence for it. Again, the report, what I report stated in the resolution is just what the report already stated. We're not contradicting, nor do I believe we're singling out the school. In the language, I don't.
Supervisor Pritzker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thought I was behind everyone in a long line, but
I think everybody's spoken. We're going around the second time and this will be the last
sure thing.
time
Well,
unless something comes more to light, because I think we're starting to
sure, we're starting to wrap
tread
up.
water here.
Yeah, so I went first, so I wasn't really prepared with the written remarks before, but as a former track athlete and coach myself, this is the worst I've ever heard of. I couldn't imagine anyone I've ever competed with or against or coached ever acting like this. So it is a big deal and it does need to be dealt with. The concerns I have with it, I guess, are if the findings in the report were out 2 weeks ago, I guess in the future, I would prefer that the information was shared with the supervisors when we're considering the resolution so that we have that information, because I, for one, did not know that it was prepared and didn't know it was available until Supervisor Cole asked to have it shared with all the supervisors, and that was just today. So I didn't have a lot of time to digest it or to contact the people at Waterford myself, and shame on me for not contacting them earlier than now. And I do have concerns about the wording. The wording does mention Waterford Union High School, and it's not singling out people, but from what the incident report says, and what the chairman, I think also read into that report, is that it happened in Racine County at a location in Racine County, but the bad actors were athletes from other schools, some of which are outside the county. So I do think it's kind of unfair to Waterford Union High School that their school is named in the resolution along with all these bad things that happened, as if they're the culprits and not just a host. So I guess that's my concern. If we want to make the broad statement, I think we can talk about the statement happening. I don't know how you clarify that it didn't involve the athletes from Waterford Union High School. I think it's read into it that it is the Waterford Union High School athletes that were involved in the incidents and were the bad actors in the incidents, without something saying that they weren't the ones involved.
Done. Supervisor Rossi.
Thank you, Chairman. I did want to follow up on Supervisor Spencer's comments about the previous resolutions, and also Supervisor Hopkins about resolutions about anti-Semitic comments. And that it appears to me that that resolution was more broad and general and was focused on anti-Semitic issues in the community. And again, here we are looking at another governmental body without coordination from any of the authors. And I don't mean that to be offensive, but without any coordination from the authors of this resolution with that district, the letter from the superintendent speaks for itself. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Supervisor Spencer.
I just want to bring forth there were adults involved in this as well. And it's, it was more than Waterford High School, yes. But I still see this as a county issue. And as a county, can I ask a question of Supervisor Hopkins?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we can allow that.
Were there not other municipalities that took a stand against this situation?
There were representatives from Milwaukee County, which are our counterparts, who released a statement acknowledging the unfortunate nature of what happened, the treatment of the students at the track meet. So again, that is another validation that counties in some rare instances can speak to an issue that is of grave importance to where they stand as a governing board. So Milwaukee County there were some supervisors who did also release a statement. And I think we need to simplify the same type of leadership as was demonstrated on their part. So
If I could just make a comment on that, so everybody understands. It wasn't a resolution from Milwaukee County. There was a number of supervisors that issued a press release. It's a little bit different. Supervisor Spencer.
We were, and I'm still kind of on my turn, I believe. We were advised to go this route. So I really feel with all of the, as the leaders of the county, we're expected to acknowledge this. And I think it would be a mistake not to acknowledge it in the manner that we have written in this resolution. So again, I make a very strong, I'm not going to call it a plea, but I would like to see the entire board have an opportunity to vote on this tonight.
Supervisor Hopkins. Oh, you had your light on. Are you done? Okay. Are there any more comments? Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have before us what some would call a critical issues resolution. Certainly, racism is a serious and significant issue and one which we should resolutely oppose, and I do so. When a critical issue resolution comes before us, and I did support the one on anti-Semitic behavior, I reflect on Racine County's connection to it. I ask, does Racine County have jurisdiction in the matter? Is a Racine County program connected to the matter? Are Racine County staff involved in the matter? Is a Racine County facility the location of the matter? Does the Racine County budget address the matter? The answer to those questions in this situation is all no. Nevertheless, racism is a pivotal issue for humanity, and we should not ignore it, but oppose it. Supervisor Hopkins and Spencer, and I believe Rutkowski responded to the matter with a critical issues resolution. And the resolution has some powerful and inspiring components. It was created with the intentions of the highest integrity, and the anti-racism message is excellent. But what did I learn today about this matter? And despite when the report may have been released on the investigation, today was the first time I had a chance to read it. And through the initiative of Supervisor Kolb, who contacted the school district, we received the official report. We learned that what was reported in the news media was not necessarily the whole story. We also learned that besides doing a thorough investigation, the Waterford Union School District has taken steps and has pledged to take further steps to hold people accountable and to bring people together. And that is how it should be. That is their responsibility as a school district. And we should be grateful to them for their efforts, and I am grateful to them for their efforts. So the question I have is, would any resolution from us help the situation? Last week, I thought a more concise resolution than the original, a little more general, focusing on condemning racism and commending those who are striving to eliminate it, would be helpful. That is why you were sent an S resolution on this matter. But what I learned today is that a resolution can have effects not intended. the Waterford Union District Superintendent was disappointed in the language, and he had access to the S resolution because he perceived it laying the blame for the matter on Waterford alone. That was not the intent of my revision, but that was the perception. So what is an appropriate response to this incident? For me personally, it is to redouble my efforts to be aware of and work against racism wherever I see it. And as a county board member, I must be committed to continuing to support programs that will counter racism and to support programs that will create a more just society. No critical issues resolution can do that for me personally or for policy. So I'm urging us all to work for a better unified society and county, but I don't think a resolution will get us there. There is an option, and I commend Supervisors Spencer and Hopkins and Rutkowski for taking this route, which coincides with the open meetings law, because long ago, and you know, I always have history, some county board members signed a letter, and I don't even remember the topic, but an open records violation was filed against them. I did not sign the letter, but Kenosha County District Attorney was asked to investigate, and he laid blame on that methodology. So this was the right way to do it. But I don't think this particular one, and I have to ask my colleagues, the original resolution lists summary of key findings, but as I read the report today, the summary of the key findings in our resolution does not totally correspond to what the investigation report said. There are some differences, and I think we would be remiss in supporting something that isn't supported by the investigation report. So again, as I said before, I'm going to make a motion to lay it over. And there are different ways to do this, but if people come up with a better solution, that could come before the committee at a future date. But I don't think either the original or my attempt to improve it would be appropriate for us to take up at all. They would both need revisions. So I'm going to move to table this item at this time.
Is there a second?
I will second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Fortunately, at that point, there's no more discussion.
There's a vote, though.
There is a
Roll call.
vote,
Roll call.
and we'll have a roll call vote. So if the clerk would call the roll instead of,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
excuse me, could you clarify what this executive committee is voting for then?
it is voting to table the resolution. That's it, yeah, and it's not tabled for 2 weeks, it's tabled, which wouldn't require
Future
community meeting could
reverse.
reverse the vote if they want to bring it back to the floor.
Thank you.
So it's tabled.
Yep, thank you.
Yes vote is tabling it, no vote is a no vote against tabling it. Call the roll.
We vote on it here in the executive committee.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I speak briefly?
Okay, go ahead.
To the time flex. Under Robert's Rules of Order, there are time limits set for a motion to table. In cases in which the next regular business session will be held before a quarterly time interval has elapsed, a question laid on the table remains there until taken from the table or until the close of the next regular session. In cases in which the lapse of time between regular business meetings is greater, there are different provisions. So here there are obviously more than quarterly meetings. So I believe it would be tabled until the close of the next regular session. And if not taken up by that time, it would die. There are alternative provisions. I'm happy to discuss those further relating to postponing to a date specific or postponing indefinitely
So this is just tabled.
until the next regular session.
The next, yeah, until the next regular session, unless the members of the executive committee vote to take it off the table and
At that session.
at that point. Do we all understand how this is now?
No, could you
Okay,
run that back?
so the motion is to table. And it would stay in the tabled area until the executive committee members would pull it back off the table and then take it up at that meeting, or till the end of the session. And the end of the session would be April of next year, April of 26.
26, yeah.
26. That's what they call for the session.
Regarding tabling.
It does state session. I'd like to confirm the definition of that.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order. So
Sure.
the county ordinance adopts Robert's Rules of Order, which would supersede anything that the WCA may suggest.
My understanding is that a session is defined as a single complete course of an assembly's business, potentially spanning multiple meetings. And again, the provisions related to tabling state in cases in which the next regular business session will be held before a quarterly time interval has elapsed, a question remains on the table there until taken from the table or the close of the next regular session. If not taken up by that time, the question dies. The committee could also determine to postpone to a date specific or to postpone indefinitely, which again have different provisions.
So which stipulation is on the table now? As to say, if it is in fact tabled, does that in fact means at the next executive meeting, it's addressed? Or not?
I'll let the corp counsel answer that, but what I understood it to be is to the end of the session. So again, if it's tabled tonight and tabled, we can bring it back to this committee with a majority vote. Doesn't take any more than a majority, simple majority, and then we can discuss this. Otherwise, at the end of the session, which is in April of 26, our body is dissolved and we all run for re-election, and there'll be new supervisors or possibility of new supervisors.
So, do I understand that at the next executive meeting, a vote is so it can call for a vote, bring this back on the agenda at the executive meeting, and it has to be voted in favor to do that?
That's how you get it back into discussion mode. Let's put it that way. However, if the next meeting, there's enough votes to bring it off the table, may or may not, we'd have to check whether it could be acted on that night. It has to be, of course, agenda item. So if it's an agenda item that is put on there to take a vote to take it off the table, and then the next item would be to act on it. If it comes off the table and it's on the agenda, we would go with it. If there's on the agenda to take it off the table and there's not an item on the agenda to act on it, then it would be scheduled for the next executive meeting. Because we can't act on anything that's not on the agenda. That, is that correct?
Once it's tabled, there would need to be a motion to remove it from the table, at which point it could be further considered after having been properly noticed.
So in that regard, it pushes us out beyond the 2 weeks.
Well, it depends. If there's a motion, if when we make the next agenda for the executive committee and you have the two items on there, one to take it off, and then if it's taken off, we will discuss it. Otherwise, if you just put an item on there to take it off the table, once it's off the table, then it'll go automatically on the next agenda. So it may be a 2-week or maybe a 4-week cycle.
And we can still speak on this new motion.
No,
Why?
not, we're explaining the rule, what the questions were about the process.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's a new motion.
But tabling isn't debatable. Any other questions? Okay, I call the question. It's been a roll call vote. Clerk will call the roll.
Supervisor Rakowski. Supervisor Spencer.
No.
Supervisor Hopkins.
No.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes.
Supervisor Trottier.
Yes.
Supervisor Meyer.
Yes.
Chairman Kramer.
Yes.
Motion to table has passed.
The motion is tabled. Item number 3. Consideration of an ordinance by the Executive Committee amending Chapter 2 of the Racine County Code of Ordinances relating to the Prairie Lakes Library System. Action requested, first reading at the June 10th, 2025 County Board meeting. Supervisor Miller,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
our library man here.
So I know we're running short on time. I think I would ask Corp Counsel Kidd so we used to have a Lakeshore Library System. County Board authorized the merger with another county, namely Rock County, to create the Prairie Lakes Library System. This codifies what that system is. So all references to lake shores have been replaced with Prairie Lakes. There are a few tweaks on the current procedures, but this is basically housekeeping to make our ordinance in line with the current 3-county library system. So I would move to send it to the county board for first reading tonight.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions on the codification of the ordinance? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion is carried. And that exhausted the
Second.
motion. We are adjourned. Okay, I'm going to be calling the meeting to order. If the clerk could call the roll.
Supervisors Caprellian, Nielsen, Varanth, Wish, and Kolb are excused this evening, and everyone else is here in the chambers.
Thank you. As customary, we have a supervisor lead us in the opening prayer. And if Supervisor Kelly could do us the honor tonight. Thank you.
Dear Father God, I would pray that this evening you could grant us clarity and strength to make sound decisions this evening. And to also pray for peace across this nation. Pray for all of our officers to keep them safe, return them home to their families, and to help protect our communities. And lastly, I pray for those who are fighting silent battles that we know nothing about. Please give them strength and guidance, Lord. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. And the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is public comments pursuant to section 2-71 of the Racine County Court ordinances. Each speaker shall be allotted a maximum of 3 minutes, and we've got a few speakers tonight. We're going to start with Kelly Scroggins. If you could come up. The vice chairman is the timekeeper. He'll give you a little bit of a warning prior to the end when you're getting down to 15 seconds or so, half a minute. So Kelly, if you could give us your name and address. Welcome to the county board.
My name is Kelly Scroggins. My address is 2501 Jean Avenue in Racine. Good evening to the members of our county board, to our executive, Ralph Malicki, and all of our supervisors. I stand today before you as a resident of this county, as an African-American woman, and as a leader of the Racine Women for Racial Justice, an organization committed to equity, dignity, and accountability in every corner of our community. I'm here tonight to speak, not just to speak, but to implore you to vote in favor of the pending resolution denouncing the racial taunting and abuse that occurred at a recent high school track meet. A resolution that calls for public condemnation, restorative action, transparency, and accountability is not only appropriate, it is urgent and necessary. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." What happened to those visiting student athletes being taunted with racial slurs, called monkeys, and demeaned in what should have been a safe platform of sportsmanship is not just a school issue. It is a community issue. It is a human issue, and it is our issue. This incident did not happen in a vacuum. There have been prior complaints, ignored or dismissed, about Black and brown students facing hostile, racially charged environments within that school system, and still no meaningful change. The inaction of administrators, the repeated failures of our WIAA Sports Association to prevent or respond to such behavior, these are not oversights. These are systemic failures, and silence in the face of these patterns is complicity. Author Elie Wiesel once said, "What hurts the victim the most is not the cruelty of the oppressor, but the silence of the bystander." Today, I ask you not to be silent bystanders. Let us not send the message to our young people, especially our Black and brown youth, that their pain, their dignity, and their humanity can be dismissed for the sake of comfort or politics. This resolution is not about division. It is about truth, it is about healing, and it is about justice. Public acknowledgement of harm followed by restorative action is how trust is rebuilt. We urge you to vote in favor of this resolution and stand on the side of transparency, accountability, and courage. Our children are watching, our communities are watching, and history will remember who spoke up and who stayed silent. I am here to take note of the vote, if not today, in the days to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No applause. This is a Marilyn Mandernick. Go ahead, Marilyn, give your name and address.
Okay, my name is Marilyn Mandernack. My address is 3711 Fence Line Road, Caledonia. I too am urging the county board to take a look at this event that happened at the Waterford Rufus King track meet. I really do feel like that is symptomatic of a bigger and deeper problem in this community. And I just really feel like it needs to be dealt with and not swept under the rug, because it's going to keep happening and our children are suffering because of it. And I have to wonder, the children are just not adopting these attitudes on their own, and where are they getting these attitudes? And I really do feel like it just needs to be looked at and not, like I said, swept under the rug. So that, and then I would also like to know if and when meaningful action is going to be taken place, so that these kind of attitudes can be dispelled. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Marcia Bueller. Your name and address, Marcia?
Marcia Bueller, 3695 Newman Road, Caledonia. Good evening. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. I too am here on behalf of Resolution 2025-15. Like many in our community, I hope, I was horrified by what took place at that track meet. Horrified that in this day and age, we are still having this sort of thing happen. People feel empowered to do this sort of thing, to, create division. Unfortunately, that's coming from the top down in our country. And in many ways, the whole issue of racism is no longer, being as, it's no longer seen as a negative as it once was in many respects. And people are seeming to feel empowered to act out. I too think it's a shame that younger people are doing this, that our younger generation feels empowered to act this way, to treat other people with no dignity. And I urge you to pass this resolution. I'm disappointed to hear that it was tabled for this evening. I think many of us will be back to speak in favor of it again. I just think our county needs to send a strong message that we don't condone this kind of behavior. And I think the way that the resolution is worded is very fair, and it sends that message. And I think many in our community, white as well as people of color, need to hear that you all recognize that this incident was unacceptable and that you are willing to go on record and oppose that and let the community know where you stand. Thank you.
Thank you. Sonola Notek?
Hi, my name is Sonali Knotek. I'm at 3812 St. Clair Street. And I am here too to ask that you unanimously adopt in the future, in the near future, I hope, the resolution regarding the Waterford incident that happened on May 7th. These kinds of racist incidents are sadly not new to Racine County and have gone on for far too long without proper intervention. It is past time that this reprehensible behavior be condemned in the strongest possible terms. I can't pretend to understand the trauma that the students of Rufus High School would have felt that day. I have only heard that coaches and other adults routinely warn students of color to expect racial, divisive, mean, and ignorant taunts when they visit predominantly white school districts. I also can't pretend to understand what meanness is cultivated among the students and adults who engaged in such hateful language against student athletes. It is time that it stopped. I urge the county board to resolutely condemn the behavior that took place on May 7th and provide the necessary leadership to heal and grow from this experience. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary Beth Suka.
Hello, I'm Mary Beth Selke. I'm a retired recycled teacher. I taught third grade in Kenosha Unified for a number of years, and I'm the author of the children's book, The ABCs of Being a Good Citizen. And sometimes when kids forget my name, Mrs. Selke, they say, "Hi, Mrs. ABC," and they remember the ABCs that are so important. ABC, always be courteous. We need to teach good manners. That is so important. And what happened was not good manners. And then ABC, always be caring. Treat others the way you want to be treated. They weren't treating them, other students in Waterford, the way they wanted to be treated. And then the third ABC, always be cooperative. We have to teach students to be cooperative. So when I retired, I started Peace Learning Circles, a program to help third, fourth, and fifth graders learn peace skills, to breathe in peace and breathe out love. And that's what we have to do to make this a better world. So please pass that resolution. Thank you.
Are there any other attendees that want to make a public comment? Come. You got the, did you fill out a sheet? Yeah, just hand it to Eric and we'll get it up to the clerk. And then just give everybody your name and address.
My name is David Backman, and I have lived at 4529 Cary Road in Mount Pleasant for the past 35 years. Racism speaks directly against the values that our Constitution guarantees all people. When racism occurs, the best thing that we can do is to reach into our toolbox and grab the biggest flashlight, the brightest flashlights in there, even though it might need some new batteries, and shine it right on that event, right on that racism. This resolution that my supervisor, Mr. Hopkins, has brought forward is such a flashlight. Racism is bad all the way around. When a community is known for its racist activities, this impedes economic development activities. This is very serious stuff. In light of you folks tabling this resolution tonight, I would invite you all to attend a healing event this Saturday. It's going to be the third annual Juneteenth parade in Racine, where people of all races can come together and celebrate freedom. If you want to walk with me, I cordially invite you. I'll be pretty obvious. I'll stand out. I'm the old white guy with hearing aids and eyeglasses. And I'll be wearing this beautiful shirt that commemorates Juneteenth Day. And I'll be at the front of the parade, out in front, celebrating our freedoms. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? All right. Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 4. Reading of the minutes of the previous meeting, which is automatically waived unless requested by a majority of the members present. Seeing no objections. Item number 6. Resolutions and ordinances referred to committees.
Resolution number 2025-15 by individual supervisors regarding the events at the Waterford Union High School track meet on May 7th, 2025 was referred to the executive committee.
Item number 7, introduction and resolutions and ordinances for first reading and referral.
Resolution number 2025-16 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing the acceptance of a Regional Conservation Partnership Program grant through the Sand County Foundation in the amount of $100,000 and transfer within the Land Conservation 2025 budget. And resolution number 2025-17 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing a multi-year contract with RT Vision for electronic timekeeping and transfer of $15,275 within the Public Works and Development Services 2025 budget.
Communications and claims.
Chairman,
Yes.
Chairman, if you would allow me for a moment, the
Oh,
Executive Committee met this evening earlier and adopted ordinance number 2025-18. And it's kind of a housekeeping issue with the Prairie Lakes Library System. And we'd like to present that tonight for first reading only. And that is my motion.
motion, you don't need the motion.
No motion.
We just,
You just-
no, we don't need to vote on that. That's a unanimous consent. Okay, we've got unanimous consent.
That would be ordinance number 2025-18 by the Executive Committee amending Chapter 2 of the Racine County Code of Ordinances relating to the Prairie Lakes Library System. And moving on to
Number 8, claims and communications and claims.
number 1, application of Wisconsin Electric Power Company docket 6630 CG 139, a gas public utility for authority to construct the Rochester Lateral Project consisting of natural gas transmission main and associated facilities in the towns of Brighton, Dover, and Norway, the villages of Rochester, Raymond, and Caledonia, and the city of Oak Creek in Kenosha, Racine, and Milwaukee counties, Wisconsin, from the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin. Number 2, notice of public hearing regarding the City of Racine's proposed new comprehensive plan from the City of Racine. And number 3, resolution regarding the support of expanded funding for the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program from Outagamie County.
Items number 1 through 3 are referred to Economic Development and Land Use Planning Committee.
Number 4, resolution advocating for expanded inpatient behavioral health facilities in western Wisconsin from Winnebago County.
Item number 4 is referred to the Health and Human Development Committee.
And now all of the rest of the items 5 through 21 are all notifications from the United States Bankruptcy Court.
Items number 5 through 21 are referred to Finance and Human Resources Committee and Corporation Council.
Any supervisors? Supervisor Horth.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to request numbers 1, 2, and 3, please.
Supervisor Wishaw.
Thank you, Chair. Copies of, I'll do 1, 2, and 3 as well, please.
Supervisor Rossi.
Chairman, 1 through 4.
Supervisor Spencer.
2 and 7.
Supervisor Shakur. Supervisor Kelly.
2, please.
And Supervisor Trotter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Numbers 1, 2, and 3, please.
And if I could have item number 2. Supervisor Pritzker.
Mr. Chairman, I have number 2 as well.
Supervisor McReynolds.
Mr. Chairman, 1, 2, and 3, please.
I think we got them all. Supervisor Hoffman.
1 and 2, please.
Okay. Going on to item number 9, communications from the county executive.
Report number 2025-4 by County Executive making an appointment to the Burlington Public Library Board of Trustees was referred to the Executive Committee.
Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, your executive committee met earlier this evening on 2025-4 and unanimously approved Megan New for an appointment to the Burlington Public Library Board of Trustees. Move to confirm.
We've got a motion and a second to confirm to the Burlington Public Library. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, report number 2025-5 by County Executive making reappointments to the Racine County Ethics Board. This was also referred to the Executive Committee.
Mr. Chairman, 2025-5, your executive committee met earlier this evening and unanimously approved the county executive making reappointments to the Racine Ethics Board, Dan Kelly and Elaine Sutton Ekis. Thank you. Confirmed.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions or comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Supervisor Hopkins.
This matter of the resolution report 2025 level will be taken up by the Public Works Committee on this Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
So then we would move on to report number 2025-13 by County Executive making a reappointment to the Commission on Aging, Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. This was referred to the Health and Human Development Committee.
Supervisor Miller.
Mr. Chairman, the committee met Monday and unanimously recommended confirmation, so I would so move.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions or comments? I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, report number 2025-14 by County Executive making reappointments to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. This was referred to the Economic Development and Land Use Planning Committee.
Supervisor Rutkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will take up this reappointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustment at our meeting next Monday.
All right.
Next, report number 2025-15 by County Executive making an appointment to the Waterford Public Library Board of Trustees. This was referred to the Executive Committee.
Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, again, I'm sorry about that. Mr. Chairman, your executive committee met this evening and unanimously approved the Waterford Public Library Board of Trustee appointment of Janice Lobel, and that is my motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to make the appointment to the Waterford Public Library. Any comments or questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, report number 2025-16 by County Executive making a reappointment to the Veterans Service Commission. This was referred to the Health and Human Development Committee.
Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last night, the Health and Human Development Committee unanimously recommended confirmation of Tom Weatherston to a reappointment. I would so move.
All in favor, or any comments and questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Then we have report number 2025-17 by County Executive making an appointment to the Commission on Aging and Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. This was also referred to the Health and Human Development Committee.
Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last night, the Health and Human Development Committee unanimously recommended confirmation of Richard Zimmerman to these two bodies. I would so move.
Motion's been made to appoint Richard Zimmerman to the committee. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have report number 2025-22 by County Executive making a reappointment to the Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Going to refer that to the Government Services.
Next, report number 2025-23 by County Executive making an appointment to the UW Extension Education Committee.
I'm going to make that referred to Economic Development and Land Use Planning Committee.
Mr. Chairman, if I may lobby for expediency, since this is one of our own and there is a vacancy, I would move to confirm Supervisor Kolb right now.
Second.
Okay, we could do that. Any comments or questions? All right. Motion's been made and second to confirm. You guys are getting me confused. Up to the UW Extension Committee. Any comments, questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then report number 2025-24 by County Executive making an appointment to the Racine Zoological Society Board of Directors.
I'm going to refer that to Public Works.
Mr. Chairman, another effort for expediency. Since this is one of our county board members, I would move to confirm Renee Kelly to the zoo board.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments, questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 10, standing committee reports containing recommendations on items referred.
There are no reports.
Second reading of resolutions and ordinances.
We have one this evening under majority vote. That would be ordinance number 2025-12 by Economic Development and Land Use Planning Committee to rezone from A3 General Farming District 3, R3 Suburban Residential District Seward, M4 Quarrying District, and B3 Commercial Service District to A2 General Farming and Residential District 2, Section 22, Range, Town 3 North, Range 19 East, Town of Burlington, owner Seth and Emily Scott.
Motion's been made and seconded. Supervisor Rutkowski.
This rezoning would allow the owners to construct a pole barn and the remaining surrounding area would remain as farmland. So it's compatible with surrounding uses.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, this is a majority voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 11, reconsiderations of resolutions and ordinances from previous meetings and/or action on vetoes.
There are no items.
Reconsideration of and a notice of intent to reconsider resolutions and ordinances.
There is no notice.
Informational reports.
Report number 2025-21 by County Board Chairman making appointments to standing committees and making changes in committee assignments. And report number 2025-25 by Finance and Human Resources Committee announcing the distribution of sales and use tax revenue for April and May.
Miscellaneous business, announcements, or oral reports. Well, I've got a couple. First of all, Youth in Governments has their bus tour on June 25th and 26th. So if anybody is going to go on to that, find the email from Maria and respond, as they get subs and some stuff for refreshments. And then I've got a retirement in the town of Norway. After 34 years, our clerk retired. And I've worked with her for 30 years, so it's kind of like sending your older sister off to college so she can do things that I can't do while I'm still working. Pat and I worked together full-time for the last 20 years. So we'll see if I can, and we've got a new clerk. She comes from the VA over at Union Grove, 20 years experience over there, and she's going to be very good. And last, I have to congratulate my wife. We completed we just had our anniversary of 18 years. And she's put up with me being at the town level and at the county level a couple nights a week. So I want to thank her and I want to love her and appreciate her. Any other? Supervisor Spencer.
Just on your comment about taking the tour with the Youth in Governance, I highly recommend it for any new supervisors. You learn a lot.
We are adjourned.